welcome to Coach's Corner. My name is Brian Fuller. I'm the Associate Athletic Director of McDowell High School. Joined today with AJ Fenton, senior member of our football team, and Michelle Holcomb, junior member of our girls soccer team. Before we get to the show, some quick news out of the athletic office. Just a reminder to all our winter athletes, physical forms must be turned into the athletic office before the first day of tryouts. And our first day of winter sports this year is November 17th, so you have a little bit of time. But again, those forms must be into the athletic office before you can actually try out. Now let's get to our guest, AJ. First of all, welcome to the show. Let's give the viewing audience here just a little quick summary of how your season's going so far.
Well, we are 6-3 right now. We're 9 games into the season. We're going down to Harrisburg this weekend to play Bishop McDevitt. They're ranked as high as 5 this season in the state polls. So we got a tough one this week, but things are going good. Our offense is clicking, our defense is clicking. We have great team chemistry, and the season's going great. Speaking
of the offense, it is brand new this year. When you heard Coach Strobel got hired and you heard that they were going to come in with that offense, is that something that you're excited about? Was something you're kind of leery at the beginning, like, wow, this is a lot different than what we're used to? Were you excited about it, or what were your thoughts?
Well, I didn't really know what Coach Strobel was going to bring because I saw what he was doing at Central for a couple years there while I was playing under Coach T. So I didn't know what he was going to bring, if he was going to bring more of a pro-style offense or just a bunch of different stuff. But he brought in what he learned at McLean under Jim Wells, and I mean, it's been working great so far. And ever since I heard we were running that offense, I was supposed to play fullback. But we made the switch to quarterback, and things have worked out great.
Speaking of that switch, now you got to be thinking, okay, I'm hoping to play Division I football. I'm not going to be a quarterback in Division I. I mean, I'm sure that thought wasn't on your head. When they asked you to make that move to quarterback, were you thinking, what is this going to do to my college chances, or were you accepting it?
Well, at that point, when Coach Strobel told me I was going to play quarterback, I already knew. I already had multiple scholarships to play football, so I was open to it, and I wasn't worried about it because I knew that I was already going to get into college because most of them wanted me for defense, and they look at athleticism less than what position I'm playing or something like that. So, I mean, I was open to it and I was fine with it, and if anything, it just showed college's versatility in my game. So,
well, as an athlete, I would think you'd be excited too, because now the ball's in your hands every single play. Where
right.
You're playing fullback, you're only getting it when your number is called. As a quarterback now, it's in your hands every play. You said your record was 6-3 at the time. When you first saw the schedule that we put together for you, what were you guys thinking? I mean, in my mind, it's one of the most competitive schedules in Pennsylvania. You look at some of the teams we played and the rankings they're at. Going in, were you thinking, holy smokes, what are they doing to us this year? Or, yeah, this is really going to get us ready for playoffs?
At first, when we first heard what we were going to play, when we were playing East and Central and Vincent and all them, it was like, wow, now we got to play 9 Pittsburgh teams rather than 5 the last 2 years, which was still tough. So, I mean, and we're in one of the toughest WPO conferences with Gateway and McKeesport. So, I mean, at first it was like, wow, but getting into the season and seeing what we can do and seeing that we can actually play with these teams, I mean, I'm glad we had it, because now we're ready for the playoffs. We're ready to go.
That's exactly. It's almost been like you're playing a playoff game every single week. You got the travel involved, especially this year with the travel. We're going 2 hours plus every week. Getting ready, leaving school early, getting ready for the game. It's like a playoff atmosphere. It's sure we're not playing for a conference title.
Right.
But this week's game is a big game. It's we're playing for a playoff seeding at this point to see if we're going to hopefully host a playoff game. For the people out there that may not know it, AJ actually is our all-time career rushing and touchdown leader at this point. He broke those records this year that were held by Jeff Davis, who graduated, I believe, in 70 or 71. So those records have been around for quite a while. Speaking of those records, your current stats right now, you're at 3,483 career yards. All right, let me correct that, 3,544 career yards and 45 touchdowns. I know you weren't around when Jeff Davis was playing, being as young as you are, but I'm sure you've heard about him. And I mean, this guy was McDowell football back in the day. I mean, people talk about McDowell football, and the first name that comes to their mind is Jeff Davis. He was recently inducted into our Hall of Fame. Being able to break his record, what does that mean to you? I mean, I know he came to practice one day and talked to you guys, and just try to put things into perspective a little bit if you can at this point. I know it's still pretty fresh,
right.
But holding those records, what does that mean to you?
Well, it means a lot. I mean, those records were around for a really long time. I mean, what is that, 40 years almost?
Yeah, about 35.
So it's been a long time since someone's broken that record or even had a chance to break that record. So, I mean, it's an honor to break it, and it's a great accomplishment in my mind, because McDowell's such a big school and they've been playing football for so long. So I mean, it's high up there in my accomplishments so far, but I mean.
Okay, let me ask you a tough question then. Do you think you'll be considered one of the best to ever play at McDowell?
I don't know. That'll come as the years go on, as far as college goes, because Jeff Davis had a great college career too. So I mean, that'll come as the years go on, and I mean, I'm not worried about that. That's not something I'm looking to be called or be considered the best. Maybe I will be, maybe I won't be, and either way, I'm fine with that.
Okay, you spoke about Jeff Davis's college career. You went to Ohio State, Big Ten. People out there don't know, AJ is verbally committed to Wisconsin. Why Wisconsin? I mean, you had all the offers you had. Why'd you choose Wisconsin?
The main reason is basically the coaching staff at Wisconsin. The guy who's recruiting me, Coach Rudolph, he coaches the tight ends. He recruits this area, one of the nicest guys I've ever met in my life. And not saying he's going to be that nice when I get there and start coaching. It's a little different once you get there. But as for right now, that whole coaching staff was just comfortable. Everything fit, the town, the city, the players, everything. When I went on my official visit, I couldn't imagine being anywhere else.
Now, you're able to see a lot of games during your recruiting process, and visitation, things like that. What do you think it's going to be? What it's going to be like when you walk on? There's 100,000 people plus in the Big House, or at Penn State, or some of these other stadiums.
Well, even Camp Randall holds 60,000. It's one of the most exciting and best college atmospheres in the nation. So, I mean, it's going to be crazy. I'm not sure what it's going to be like walking out in an actual uniform and warming up for all that stuff. But I'm real excited for it, and I mean, it's going to be a blast.
Okay, let's get back to this season a little bit. Playoff projections. We have one more game left. If we go down into Harrisburg and beat McDevitt, that will set us up for the playoffs. How far do you think this team can make it in the playoffs?
I think we can make it in the playoffs as far as we want to go. If we win this game, we want to be in the top 10 going into the playoffs. So we want to win this game and somehow sneak our way up into 9 or 10 or a spot like that. So I think we're going to go as far as we want to go. And right now, the feel on the team and on the field during practice is everybody wants to win. Everybody wants the title, and we want to make it to that state championship. We want to get to that Whitfield game and actually win one this time. So I mean, we're going to go as far as we want to go.
You talked about sneaking up on people. Unfortunately, I think that's is gone at this point. We're not going to be sneaking up on anybody because of the season we've had. I know Coach Smith from Gateway was quoted in USA Today as saying that McDowell gave them their toughest game this year. So it's people out there, we're on the radar, people know about us, but like I said, I think we have a real good chance of getting through the playoffs. And like you said, we played their toughest. We played the toughest in Whitfield already with McKeesport and Gateway, and one of them are going to be gone by the time we get there. So we're set up pretty nice. Yeah. Okay, last question then. Get through the season. What's the off season going to bring for you? Are you going to prepare for college? Are you going to play any other sports in McDowell? Are you just going to take it easy, or what's
well, first I'll take it easy for a little while. I might take them 2 weeks or a month. Nah, no baseball, no baseball anymore. But I'll probably take it easy for a little while, and then I'll hook up with the Wisconsin coaches. They'll send me a few things, get me doing a couple stuff that they do up there already, and send me some playbooks, and I'll start studying and working out and stuff like that. But it's not going to be anything different, and then I'll end up shooting up there in the summer. And
do you have a reporting date yet?
No, not yet.
All right, well, best of luck in the playoffs. I'm sure everyone will be following the rest of your career here and looking for great things out of the McDowell football program.
Coach.
Some upcoming events for our boys' athletics. Our freshman football team will be playing Central on Wednesday at 4 o'clock. The boys soccer team will be competing against Cathedral Prep in the District 10 Championship. That will be Thursday, October 30th at Veterans Stadium at 7:30. Cross country will be at the state meet in Hershey this weekend. That will be Friday, Saturday down in Hershey, Pennsylvania. And like we said, the boys varsity football team will be playing Bishop McDevitt, 2 o'clock on November 1st. And that will bring us to our next guest. Next guest we have with us is Michelle Holcomb, junior girls soccer program. Welcome to the show. You can relax now. It's going to get started, okay? Let's give a little bit of background maybe on you personally first. When did you start playing soccer? What attracted you to soccer?
Well, I have an older brother who came through McDowell, and he played soccer when he was little, and I always went and watched his games. So I started playing about 5 or 6 in EYSA. And then my neighbor got me into Lake Erie Soccer Club, or LESC, with Mary Kay Starami. And I've played for Mary Kay for about 10 years now. And then LESC turns into Erie United, and I'm still playing for Erie United.
So you're playing a lot of club soccer and a lot of travel. Do you think Do you think that's important for girls to play that? Is it a help? Is it, does it wear you down? Or?
Well, usually traveling soccer teams are in the spring, and I think it is a help because they learn basic skills for soccer, and it helps them. A lot of the girls on our soccer team are from either Erie United or Erie Admirals.
What kind of traveling do you do? What kind of sites do you go to? Or is it, was it weekend tournaments?
They're usually on Sundays, and you either play 1 or 2 games, either in Lodi or you go down to Pittsburgh or Cleveland.
All right. Do you do any other special off-season preparation? Do you run? Do you lift weights, or is it just pretty much playing club?
Well, I play club in the spring, but I also play basketball in the winter, and then I run track for the spring for McDowell.
Okay, so I guess what else keeps you busy off the field then? Obviously, you said you run track in the spring, or what other kind of interests do you have? Or is it just soccer?
Well, I'm also involved in Key Club, and I like to do a lot of things with church and the community.
And that's one thing, a lot of our athletes here at McDowell are involved in more than just that particular sport. We have a lot of great clubs and activities here at the school, and a lot of them, such as yourself, are involved in all of those activities. Okay, let's get to your season here. How is your season going so far? Maybe give the viewing audience a little recap of the season, where you're at record-wise, and how things are going.
Well, we're doing pretty well. We just won our game yesterday against Hickory at Wilmington, 7-0, so that was pretty good. And we're in the second round of playoffs right now before districts, and we have a game tomorrow against at General McLean against Warren.
Mm-hmm.
So
now you're probably looking, you don't ever want to say you're going to look past the game, because you're not going to look past Warren, but you're looking for that matchup again with Mercier's Prep in the district kind of final. Seems like that's a yearly matchup. That's the game on your schedule, I'm sure, that you're looking forward to, but you got to get through the first one. You got through that one, now you get through the second one to be able to make that step ladder to get to Mercier's Prep. If you get past Mercier Prep, then what are you looking at playoff wise? How far do you think this team can go?
Well, we have high hopes for us. I know in this season we played tough games. You have had a very tough schedule for us with Upper St. Clair and Mount Lebanon and a lot of the Pittsburgh teams. So we have matched up against them, and hopefully we will be ready in the playoffs to go far.
And you talked about the schedule. That's one thing we're really trying to do here at McDowell, is to step up all of our schedules. It seems like any playoff we want to get through, if we want to get to the state championship, we have to get through the Pittsburgh teams to do it. So we're trying to get more of those teams on our schedules. Does that prepare you for playoffs, do you think, playing that tougher schedule, or is it going out and getting the wins during the season? I almost think we'd rather go closer to a 500 schedule, but playing better teams than getting 750 percentage point with the wins, playing the weaker teams.
Well, we haven't come out with wins against Mount Lebanon or Upper St. Clair, but of course it always makes us better to play a better team, and we learn from our losses, and hopefully we can turn that around.
Back to the beginning of the season, what kind of goals did you set for yourself? What kind of goals did Coach Baginski set for the team? Have you guys achieved those goals at this point?
Well, we're a very diverse team. We have some freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. So we're not an old team and we're not a young team. So our main goal was to work together and learn about each other before. So we want to play hard and pass and work together as a team toward a goal, which is playoffs, obviously.
That would be great. That would be great. Okay, last question for you then. We talked about you run track, but being only a junior, are you starting to look at some colleges, or what's the off season going to bring for you?
Well, I haven't looked too far into colleges, but I'd like to play in college first, at least soccer, and then I'll be busy with other sports.
But you haven't starting to look at colleges yet?
No. Hopefully I can play for Division II at least. But
well, it's getting close. It's going to go quicker than you think. So it's time to start looking at some schools, and any help we can provide for you, absolutely. As the athletic office, we'll do whatever we can for you. Some upcoming events then for our girls athletics coming up in the next week or so. Like we talked about, we have soccer playoffs. They will be participating against Warren on Wednesday in hopes to get to the District 10 championship, which will be November 1st. Then our tennis, we have a singles and doubles. We'll be going down to states at Hershey, the Hershey Racket Club. That will be this weekend. And our girls water polo team will also be participating at Cumberland Valley High School this weekend down near Harrisburg in the Hershey area. That will be Friday and Saturday as well. And our cross country girls team will also be at the state meet down at the Parkview course in Hershey on Saturday. Just to wrap things up here, don't forget you can view the Coach's Corner show on the Mill Creek Township School District website by going to mtsd.org and then clicking on MTSD TV and then click on Coach's Corner. So if any of you guys have family anywhere in the nation, you can tell them to go to the site and they'll be able to watch your show. It will be out there for everybody in the internet world. Any questions for anything out of the athletic office? We're winding down our fall season, getting ready to kick off our winter season. If we can do anything for anyone out there, please call the athletic office at 835-5428. Thank you as always for watching, and go Trojans.